Hi there, good evening to you. Coming up on tonight's BBC London. Workers take their plea for better sick pay to number 10, but can businesses afford the extra costs? We look at the government's latest proposals.
The process of me getting awarded statutory sick pay also took quite some time as well. So I felt like I was kind of stranded without money for a little while and was overly reliant on my friends and family.
Also this Monday, a message of unity at a London synagogue as Jewish, Muslim and Christian worshippers are brought together during Ramadan. Plus, never too old for skateboarding. We meet the women who are having fun on four wheels and encouraging others to get on board. And decorated by designers and artists, why these giant eggs will be popping up across the capital later this month. Hello and a very warm welcome to the programme. Thank you for joining us. We start with the cost of getting sick and not being able to work in the capital. The government is planning to change employment rights for workers, including sick pay and parental leave. Charities, businesses and trade unions delivered a Get Workers Well Soon card to Downing Street this morning to highlight the issue. But business leaders have raised concerns about the impact of rising costs. Our Work and Money correspondent Megan Owen has this report.
3 years ago, Fareed was diagnosed with eye cancer in his final year at university. He had treatment for 8 months and wasn't able to continue his part-time job in retail.
The process of me getting awarded statutory sick pay also took quite some time as well. So I felt like I was kind of stranded without money for a little while and was overly reliant on my friends and family.
And how much of your own money did you have to use in order to get by?
About £3,000 to £4,000. So yeah, it was quite a lot, and I spent a lot of time saving that money as well, so it didn't feel good that I had to use it in that manner.
Currently, to qualify for sick pay, you must have been ill for more than 3 days in a row and earn an average of at least £123 per week. Well, under the new plans, workers will be entitled to sick pay from the first day they are ill, and low-paid workers will also be eligible. In fact, the government estimates that 1.3 million people on lower income will be entitled to 80% of their average weekly earnings or statutory sick pay.
But today, unions, businesses and charities delivered a Get Well Soon for Workers card to Keir Starmer, urging the government to go further in their proposed changes, including increasing the rate of sick pay and the length of time it's paid.
Some people's treatments when they have cancer last a lot longer than just 8 months or 9 months, and it can go on a lot longer than that. So I would like those people to feel supported throughout the whole course of their treatment.
Small businesses like the Dragon Pub in Horsham are also worried, already grappling with the fear of looming tax rises.
The wages are already high, the national insurance is high, the minimum wage is really high. And then if you have somebody who is not at work and you still have to pay them 80% of it, I probably have to close down.
The government says it wants to ensure the safety net of sick pay is available to those who need it the most. And the reforms will support employees to stay in work, raise living standards and create opportunities. The changes are set to be discussed tomorrow in Parliament. The Prime Minister's visitors today will be hoping he at least opens their envelope. Megan Owen, BBC London.
Well, we'll be following these proposals and finding out how any changes may affect you. But we'd also like to hear from you. If you've got a story about your sick pay, or perhaps you're a business concerned about the cost, you can get in touch. You can see the address there via email to hellobbclondon@bbc.co.uk. A police officer who repeatedly tasered a man who died after falling into the River Thames has told an inquest that he initially believed he was dealing with a terror attack and did not consider the man could be suffering a mental health crisis. It happened in June 2022. Well, our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup joins me now. Sonia, you were hearing this at the inquest. Tell us more.
Well, the jury were shown police body cam footage of that day on Chelsea Bridge, and we've decided not to show it in full because of its distressing nature. Oladeje Omoshore, known as Deje, was described as highly vulnerable. And today, PC Humphrey Taki-Yeboah was asked why he had fired his taser at him 5 times. Now, he told the inquest that he believed he was dealing with a terror attack. He said that he had been told that there was a man shouting religious things and waving a screwdriver around. And he said as he approached, he saw members of the public who looked scared and were running away. And then he said he saw the man with something shiny in his hand. Now, it was later discovered that this was not a weapon, but a plastic and metal firelighter.
And did he know that Mr. Omoshore was having a mental health crisis?
Well, PC Taki-Yeboah had not been told this. He told the jury that even if he had considered that earlier on, he would not have approached the situation differently. Now, he was asked why he had fired the taser a second and third time at Mr. Omoshore as he lay on the ground and after he had dropped the item in his hands. And he said that he'd had an honest belief that he was still presenting a risk to members of the public, to himself and to his colleague. And he said that he fired the taser a 4th and 5th time after Mr. Omoshore jumped a barrier towards the edge of the bridge in the hope that it would stop him immediately. Now, asked if he should have spent time talking to Mr. Omoshore, who hadn't attacked anyone, he wasn't near members of the public, he said he said that he was asked, do you think he would have been too fast on the draw? And he replied, not at all. And the inquest continues.
OK. For now, with the latest there, Sonia, thank you. That's our Home Affairs correspondent, Sonia Jessup. You're watching BBC London. Plenty more to come tonight, including we meet the women who are having fun on 4 wheels and encouraging others to get on board. The family of murdered MP Sir David Amess say they're insulted and heartbroken by the government's decision not to hold a public inquiry into his killing. Sir David was killed at a constituency surgery in 2021 by a man who had been referred to the Prevent Anti-Terrorism programme. The Home Secretary has rejected calls for an inquiry, but his widow and daughter say that decision is unacceptable, insulting and heartbreaking.
Yvette Cooper has strung us along for months, suggesting that she was working on ways to help us. However, all she has done is remove the possibility of us being included in the Southport inquiry. Instead, she had offered us another useless paper review done by a person of their choosing. This appears to be an attempt to placate me and to make me go away, but I do not accept that. Our time has been wasted and it has caused further pain and heartbreak by giving us a small glimmer of hope, only to crush it. The refusal to hold a public inquiry only adds to our suffering, and it makes us feel abandoned, ignored, and disposable. The government has a duty to protect citizens and those who serve the public. My father was failed in the worst way imaginable, and yet those responsible refuse to be held accountable.
That was Katie Amess speaking there. Well, our legal correspondent Dominic Casciani explains why the family are so angry about this decision.
It's very difficult to put into words actually how strong Katie Amess felt this morning and how she expressed it. She told us some very, very personal details about how the death of her father had affected her and a wider family. Just one shocking detail, that he was buried in the suit he had bought to walk her down the aisle had he still been alive. And this is why she said the public and the government needs to understand the human impact of this appalling terrorist murder, because they feel deeply let down. Now, the reason why they feel let down is because Ali Harbi Ali, the killer now serving a whole life term, was on the radar of the Prevent system, but he was basically given the all clear 5 years before he committed this murder. And the family say the review which has been carried out into how his case was handled simply hasn't answered any of the questions about why he was let out of the system so early and given the all clear, given he went on to kill. They're going to see the Home Secretary and Prime Minister on Wednesday, and they're going to ask for this decision to be reversed. But they know they're up against a battle now, but they are going to fight on.
Correspondent Dominic Casciani there. Let's take a look now at some of the day's other stories. And a man has appeared in court charged with the murder of 16-year-old Nathaniel Burrell, who was shot dead in Stockwell last Tuesday. Omar Prempeh from Forest Hill appeared at Bromley Magistrates Court by video link. He was remanded in custody and will next appear at the Old Bailey on Wednesday. As you may have seen, the King and Queen and senior members of the royal family have attended the annual special service at Westminster Abbey to mark Commonwealth Day. There were representatives from various countries as well as performances by acts from around the Commonwealth. And a security review has been ordered by the Commons Speaker after a man scaled the tower which houses Big Ben. Sir Lindsay Hoyle said he wanted to ensure lessons are learned following the incident. Daniel Day appeared before Westminster Magistrates Court today, charged with intentionally or recklessly causing a public nuisance and trespassing on a protected site. Now to a remarkable story of someone turning their life around and now wanting to help others. This is Roscoe Onya, a rapper who at the age of 11 was groomed by a gang and served 10 years in prison at the age of just 17. He's gone from war zones and prison to music and mentoring. Alice Bandukravi has been speaking to him.
Roscoe Onya singing about the place he came from and which he fled as a 5-year-old. After spending 4 years in refugee camps, his family was reunited in Plumstead in southeast London, but life wasn't easy for the 9-year-old.
I was really picked on as because I couldn't speak a word of English or things like that. So yeah, that sense of belonging, you know, that I was looking for, I didn't have any friends. So hanging around with these kids in their state gave me a sense of belonging, and I used to feel like they treated me well. You know, so, you know, I latched onto that. We used to play football and just chill, and they'll buy me chicken and chips and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll chill and there'll be a car pulling up and I'll be asked to drop something to a car, and that was it.
Roscoe was being groomed by a gang. At the age of 17, he was sent to prison for possession of a firearm and served a 10-year sentence under rules which have since been abolished. And despite having been transferred to 16 different prisons, he was able to access a rehabilitation program run by Cambridge University. He was given a mentor, Jack Merritt.
Jack's eyes never saw white or black. He saw a fell system and he'll fight it back.
Jack was one of 2 young people killed in the 2019 London Bridge terror attacks. What would you say Jack brought to your life?
Brought me understanding and peace, and faith in like humanity. That's in a nutshell. That's what he brought to me, and love.
Nowadays, Roscoe is concentrating on his music career and donating the proceeds of his gigs to the charities he cares about.
I believe people do deserve a second chance, and I believe that we should really tap into our young people and elevate them and bring them up, you know, because there's so much bad stuff happening out there.
Alice Bandukravi, BBC London.
Lovely to have you with us this Monday evening, still to come before 7. Ecstatic about Easter, why these giant eggs will be popping up in places across the capital later this month. A boxing club coach has reunited in the ring with the man he says helped save his life after he collapsed during a children's sparring session. The founder of Double Jab Boxing Club in New Cross says he was only able to help because he'd done CPR training and is now encouraging others to learn life-saving skills. Our reporter Harry Lowe met them both, and I should say some of you may find some of the footage distressing.
A normal Tuesday night youth session at Double Jab Boxing Club. Minutes later, 77-year-old coach John hits the canvas.
But when I saw him on the floor, and and I could see that he was in trouble properly.
Within seconds, the club's founder, Pat, leaps into the ring.
I could see his face was going purple sort of colour, and he wasn't breathing. Checked his chest, he wasn't breathing, so I went straight into CPR. And after about, I think it was 25, 30 pumps, he sort of started breathing.
I absolutely could not have had this happen in a better place, All the coaches are trained in first aid and CPR, and like Pat particularly, we both definitely got something out of it. I'm still alive, and Pat has now got to put up with me for longer.
While Pat performed CPR, quick-thinking coach Simone took the children next door.
I just made sure they was okay. We had two scenarios. I said to them we could either discuss what had just happened and go through how you're feeling, or we could just take our feelings out on the bag. What do you think they picked? Number 2. We're in a boxing gym after all.
For a coach used to helping troubled teenagers off the streets, this was truly life-saving.
I don't think myself was an hero, I just feel as myself was getting through the ropes and fighting. It was a different type of fight. It was getting through and fighting for his life.
A fight unlike any other?
Oh yeah, the stakes were high, very high. But luck would have it, it come through and it worked. So very happy about that.
Once medics arrived, John received treatment, but Pat says his first aid training was the difference between life and death.
I didn't get up that morning and think, oh, I'll be doing that, and it just sprung on you. But if you've got confidence because you do it, then you're going to be much more positive as a citizen in this country, because you're going to be able to do something positive when you need it. It's just, coaches are like, you're like brothers as well, and, families. You start a family atmosphere with coaching people, and you look out for each other.
There is no way I can repay you for saving my life, but you'll always be my friend, and I'll always stand up for Pat in any way I can. Yeah.
So you'll be back?
Definitely.
Harry Lowe, BBC London.
Now, during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, a synagogue in Golders Green has opened its doors to local people of all faiths for an iftar evening meal to bring local religious communities together. With the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, some of those who attended say it was more poignant than ever. Aisha Baksh was also there.
The Muslim call to prayer in a Jewish place of worship. At the Northwestern Reform Synagogue in Golders Green, Jews, Muslims and Christians took part in a special annual event. The synagogue has been hosting an iftar evening meal here during the holy month of Ramadan for many years, but in recent times it's been more challenging.
There has been growing tensions within our communities, around our communities, rising rates of Islamophobia, rising rates of anti-Semitism. But when you get a Jew, a Muslim and a Christian to break bread together, you see that we share so many of the same values, so much of the same narrative, and that's what really matters.
Many of those who attended live locally and worship in North London.
I thought it was really nice to see that we can break bread together. And especially the Jewish faith and the Muslim faith, we share a lot of common ground. And for me, it was quite warm to see our Jewish brothers and sisters and how we can find common grounds to talk to each other about our faith and how we can be friends.
And there were also readings and discussions held throughout the evening.
There's deep concern in this community for the fate of the hostages that are held in Gaza. Equally, there's concern at a lot of the suffering, the killing that we're seeing in that region. And at a time like that, to see different communities coming together, breaking bread together, having those conversations, look at the things that we have in common rather than things that which divide us, that's incredibly important and I think builds our strength.
We've built up a trust and a friendship. And we talk about the difficult conversations as well. We talk about what is hurting us. And that is why we can come to this space and to share our traditions and kind of find those stories of hope within so much pain and hopelessness.
Organisers hope different faiths coming together can make a positive and long-lasting impact in this local community and beyond. Aisha Baksh, BBC London.
poignant message there. Next, I love this story, not just because it challenges stereotypes when it comes to skateboarding, but it's a group of women just having fun on four wheels and encouraging others to get on board. They formed a skate club which meets across different parts of London. We went along to check out one of their sessions.
My children love it. A lot of the parents sort of laugh it off thinking, aren't you a bit old, or haven't you grown out of that yet?
You can't skate, this is for kids, you're too old. I decided to take up skating when I hit 61. I wanted a new challenge, and this is about as challenging as it could get.
We're a group of mums that have not only just brought our children to the skate park, we've taken the step to get on it ourselves.
When you're on the board, you can't think about being self-conscious. You can only think about, well, basically not falling off.
Sometimes I do go to the park on my own. It's me and 16 teenage boys. I'm used to it now, but if you're starting out, you want to have people of your peer group.
My son, every time we walk past, he wants to come and see the boarding. It's nice to see a few women similar to my age doing something that I would only dream of doing. It definitely has a draw to it.
It's just an amazing adrenaline rush, and afterwards you go home and you think, I did that today. I've moved forward and I've conquered my fear on that one. So it's a pretty amazing feeling.
Don't give up, don't care what another people thinking, and just keep rolling.
See what I mean? A great example there of people encouraging and supporting others here in the capital. And it reminds me, if you know someone doing something rather special for others in their community, why not nominate them for a BBC Local Radio Make a Difference Award? There's a full list of categories and details of how to nominate on our website. You've still got a couple of weeks before nominations close at the end of March, and winners will be announced at a special ceremony in September. So please get nominating. OK, to some egg-citing news now. Sorry, other puns are available, but I will stop now. Ahead of Easter, more than 100 giant eggs decorated by designers and artists here, are just some of them, have arrived in central London. But soon they'll be popping up in different places right across the capital, as Gem O'Reilly explains.
Covent Garden was once known for its fruit and veg, but today it's hosting eggs. Decorated by famous names across the worlds of fashion, design and art.
This is the launch of the Elephant Family's Big Egg Hunt. This is a really exciting art exhibition that's going to be all over London for 5 weeks with all these amazing eggs, and it's all about raising awareness for and raising funds for Elephant Family, which is a really exciting conservation charity that does work in conservation across Asia.
What an excellent collection. They've been scrambling around here all morning to line up 130 eggs in Covent Garden. More than 100 artists have been involved, and these eggs will be sent all across London for the Big Egg Hunt.
Throughout my art career, I've been obsessed with the female gaze. Anything to do with the gaze, anything to do with that eye contact. This is called Peekaboo, where I take iconic gazes that we know and love. That are familiar in popular culture. So on the front we've got Botticelli's Venus, on the back we've got the girl with the pearl earring. We know those women. It's all about addressing female empowerment, where we stand in this world.
Mine is about what the Clarence Court chickens are fed, so it's the beautiful wild flowers, the marigolds, paprika and all these lovely things, the sort of colours of the food that they eat. So it's quite sort of, it's all about the colour of the yolk and this deep orange, and it's shot on sort of blacks and blues, and it's quite striking.
From Buckingham Palace to Battersea Power Station, members of the public are invited from March to April to download an app and track the eggs across the capital.
Art makes us smile. Maybe you don't understand it, maybe you don't get it, maybe you don't know what's going on with each individual egg, but you connect with it on so many levels.
The eggs will then be auctioned after Easter, and the proceeds will go to elephant conservation. Gem O'Reilly, BBC London.
And you'll start seeing them scattered across the capital at the end of the month. I'm going to spare you the egg puns and go straight to Corsa for a look at the forecast. And after a beautiful weekend, I suppose March remembered, the weather remembered that it was March,
Exactly that, Riz, because we had glorious weather, didn't we, at the weekend? It is all changing, and for this week, much cooler
conditions, some clouds, some showers as well.
I bet you were popular though this
Well,
month.
for the weekend I was, because some people even took their barbecue out this weekend because we reached about 19 Celsius, so really not too bad at all. But yes, I'm afraid it is all set to change. At least that weather was for the weekend. We did have glorious sunshine, didn't we? This was a scene sent in from one of our weather watchers. Bright blue skies in Southwark and lots of sunshine around. And temperatures, as an example, in Northolt and West London reached 19.3 Celsius on Sunday. And today, much more in the way of cloud around. It was quite damp as well. We had some patchy like rain, some drizzle in some of that cloud. And temperatures in Northolt, for example, reached 11.8 Celsius today, so just above average. So you can see that change, that decline in temperatures, and that is the story for the rest of this week. The oranges being replaced by the blues. We have this cold front that's arriving in overnight tonight, and as it does so and clears through, we're in the cooler air mass with the blues on the map, and temperatures will become below average for the rest of this week. Already we're seeing cloud out there, quite damp conditions as well, a bit of patchy like rain, some drizzle around as well. By the end of the night, temperatures still holding up at around 4 to 6 Celsius, but it will be much colder in the coming nights. So it means for tomorrow morning, quite cloudy, a bit damp to start the day, but we are expecting some spells of sunshine around, but also the chance of some showers with that north to northeasterly breeze. Some of these showers may even bring some hail and maybe some winteriness over the highest ground. And temperatures tomorrow look 7 to 10 degrees, several degrees lower than what they have been and below average for the time of year. For tomorrow evening as well, there'll be some clear spells, some further showers, some cloud around as well, but a much colder night in store tomorrow. Temperatures quite widely dipping below freezing, down to around maybe -2 Celsius in some of the outskirts. There will be a widespread frost. And then for Wednesday too, it's a similar story. There'll be some cloud around, some showers. Some of these showers could have some hail in the mix, some brighter spells as well. A bit of a breezy day with that north to northeasterly breeze, and temperatures again 7 to 8 Celsius. And for the rest of the week too, well, high pressure will continue to build. So we are expecting some more settled conditions by the end of Friday into the weekend, more in the way of drier weather. And there will also be some sunshine too, but it does stay quite cool. So for the time being, for the next few days, there will be quite a lot of cloud, temperatures down to around 8 or 9 Celsius at best. By the weekend, though, hopefully some sunshine, but temperatures still below average, only 10 degrees. And it will be quite breezy at times, and watch out for those showers. That's your forecast.
Weather reality kicks in. Of course, thanks very much. And that's where we leave you. But on our Instagram, how do you feel about lab-grown food? It could be here within 2 years. And yesterday, as the London Eye marked its 25th anniversary, check out the story on our website of how it nearly didn't happen. Plus, watch the incredible moment of it being lifted into place on the South Bank. It's hard to imagine our skyline without it. From me and everyone on the team here, whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.